That's a stupid mistake. But this is why we do this stuff, to make all the mistakes we can so you don't make them. Hey guys, in Phoenix, it's been like over 110 for 19 days straight and forecast for another at least 8 days.
Yeah, I saw that.
Today's project is putting some AC in our K-swap fit. Welcome to VTEC Academy. You're about to get cooled. One of the big problems with the fit and the CRZ is this frame rail is in the way. So we wanted to go ahead and remove that. So I put Brian on the task and let's see what he did. So if you look at the side of the frame rail, you can see how this kind of goes out and into the engine bay a little bit. We had the same thing going on over on this side right here, and that was gonna, obviously our K-Series engine is much wider, and that was gonna go into it. So, he's got the leftover carnage. Here are the parts that used to be in there. So basically we cut them out until we had room, and luckily, the subframe is supported by this over here. It's not a subframe, I guess we call it a core support. It's supported by this over here, so it didn't move. So then we actually built a little bracket, and after Brian built a paper model of what he wanted, we built this little bracket and then welded it in order for it to maintain support of that one side. We didn't want to do anything with the crash structure, so it's still nice and tight. So this is kind of overkill, huh?
I definitely think it's overkill.
So if I make one for sale, should I make it out of thinner material?
I would go next size down.
All right.
And it should be just fine.
Cool.
I mean, this is nothing more than a pop can.
Yeah, I mean, basically this is 1/8 inch thick material with like 11 gauge. I think I can go all the way to 18 gauge actually.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
So we'll change it out to 18 gauge and see what's going on. But now we have room. We've got the ability to do this and get our AC going. The other thing Brian did was he made a new line. Our old line actually crossed underneath in front of the frame rail, and that area is no longer there to attach to our core support. So Brian actually modeled a new line specifically for doing that. We had some aluminum tubing, so he bent it up. We joined it together actually with a 1/4 inch all thread in order to put everything where we needed to. And with this, we'll take this to the AC guy and have him make our line using the proper ends and everything. One other thing we got to add into it is our pressure sensor.
Pressure sensor.
Yeah, that's the ECU wants to see that.
I think that can hang out right here though. I think it'll be just fine.
Put that right there, plenty of room. All right, so we've got all the parts. Somebody else has the expertise. We'll send this off and get it done. All I have to do is make the soft lines.
Yeah,
Next step, head down to the salvage yard.
Yeah, we're gonna need a new firewall block.
A new firewall block. Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
We made that one to a plug.
Yeah.
All right, so I need to make a list of parts. Firewall block. We need an
Cuts.
AC compressor from an Accord
And then
because it'll be single wire.
line cuts. No, we need a 3-wire.
Oh, we need a 3-wire? Oh, that's 3-wire. So we may wind up using, the Accord one's actually single wire, so we may wind up taking this off the Accord and using it, because usually this is like in line, it goes in here like that and then out.
Oh, yeah.
So we may wind up using, we might even just use that compressor. That's off an 06 Civic Si. I'll take a look at the Accord one, and if it is compatible with this wiring, I can take the wiring off and just put it on.
That'd be easy enough to fake. That's.
Oh yeah, we could make the plug and everything. All right, cool enough.
Not yet.
Yeah, it will be cool. All right.
About time winter rolls around, we should have it done.
Ready
for next summer.
As we tend to do. All right, we need to find a belt. We need to find some hoses. We need to have this all made up and get it charged up, see if it holds pressure.
All we can do is try.
Hey guys, I'm back here at Exact Dyno, and Tim Kelly, and we've got our K24Z powered Honda Fit. And we're gonna see what kind of horsepower it makes. Also try a little bit of basic tuning. One of the things I know is a problem is we have a MAF sensor in here in a tube that's probably too big for it. Although the car felt like it was running well, it probably wasn't running optimally. So we're gonna see if we can coax a few more shy ponies out of this. So I had been hopeful that what we were gonna be able to do with this is turn off the MAF, M-A-F, and just use temperature, air, and map sensor in order to figure out what our air charge coming in was. Turns out you can't do that. I'm not sure if anybody makes an ECU that's modifiable like that on this particular computer. Again, this is the 2008 TSX ECU, very similar to the 2009 TSX ECU, very similar to the 2008 Accord ECU, but we'll probably wind up doing some mathematical jujitsu to kind of interpolate what our air charge is and combine that with our fuel in order to get it all to work properly. But I have confidence in Tim, and we'll see what we can do. Okay, right now we're doing a 3,000 RPM test run just to kind of establish a few basic parameters. This all has to do with the diff setup on it. RPM with the gear we're going to be running in versus what the speed is going to be on the hub. And then we set that to the tire size and get that information on our gear ratio. It's all part of the math we do in order to determine what horsepower is. Because horsepower is basically moving the car over time. VTEC even come on?
I don't know. It doesn't seem like it does.
No.
It should have been 5,000.
Yeah. Looks like VTEC didn't come on. It said it did? Okay. Yeah.
I don't know if I believe it though.
Yeah. It did. You know what? I've heard it. Come to think of it, I've heard it come on during certain pulls.
Okay.
It just didn't.
Yeah, it would have been at 5.
Yeah, it should have been like.
Downhill from there.
Yeah. So looking at the dyno, there's really no difference between on VTEC and off VTEC. The computer says VTEC came on, but it doesn't seem like it did necessarily. Here's a fascinating issue. When I drove this car with the L15 in it, I used to fill it up with 87 octane all the time. I do believe it still has 87 octane in it. I think we pulled the motor with almost a full tank, and now we are running out that tank. That's a stupid mistake, but this is why we do this stuff. To make all the mistakes we can so you don't make them. Well, we ran into an interesting problem. K-tuner module has stopped communicating with our computer, so we're going to have to check that out and see why that might be happening. So we have a communication error with our K-tuner. This particular one was actually in a car years ago. We had it unmarried from that computer and put in this one. I'm not sure if it's a problem with that or maybe with our cable, but we need to do some, I'll get a new cable, we'll do some further testing, see if we can figure out why it decided it didn't want to talk anymore. It's idling at about 900 when it should be idling at about 750. So that tells me, and actually Tim tells me, that it's probably a small air leak, a really small air leak. So we'll check, make sure we don't have like a bent plate on the throttle body or some air leak somewhere else. But we 158 horsepower, which is vastly underpowered compared to what we thought we'd have. We thought we'd be closer to 200. We will be back at the dyno again after we make some repairs. Well, crap. Our dyno numbers were not very promising, and so we brought it back to shop. We were doing a little bit of investigation, and it looks like we've got a blown head gasket. This engine, once it warms up, just starts pushing water out of the radiator, and that almost always means that it's pressurizing from cylinder pressure, so we need to do something about that. So it's going to be interesting to see if we can do that in the car. As you can see right here, the engine's tucked pretty far underneath the cowl. The question is, can we get under there? Can we get the head off? Is there room for us to work? Are we going to need tiny little hands in order to be able to do this? For that and other questions, stay tuned. We'll be back as we take this, put it on the lift, try to take it all apart in the car, and see if we can't get the head gasket repaired. By the way, at the same time, we're going to do some changes to the AC system as well. We used a TSX AC compressor, which has a really big pulley on it, and it's also a single wire operation rather than 3-wire. And the FIT system wants to see a 3-wire compressor. So at the same time, I'm going to try using an 06 Civic compressor. Might even be able to get away with some stock hoses, get that changed, and hopefully everything works out and we can get this thing back on the dyno and get full power. Anyway, guys, that's the end of this episode. Thanks for joining us. Please think about liking and subscribing. I think this thing's going to be a blast when it's all done. It's going to be really fast. In fact, we might have to race it against a couple other fits we have. Anyway, guys, thanks for joining us, and we'll talk to you next time. Like and subscribe. Hit the bell. Like and subscribe. Hit the bell. Like and subscribe. Hit the bell. Hit the bell. Like and subscribe. Hit the bell.